The distress beacon pierced through subspace like a scream in the void. Commander Zelthix of the Cooperative Defense Station Harmony 7 watched the transmission repeat itself on every frequency, growing more desperate with each cycle. The Creventhi Armada had arrived 3 cycles ago, and the station's shields were failing. "Send the call," Zelthix commanded, her 4 eyes reflecting the red emergency lights.
"All Allied forces."
"We need immediate backup." The communications officer's tentacles trembled as he worked the console. "Commander, the nearest cooperative fleet is 14 cycles away. The Anthali can send a squadron in 9 cycles. The Vexori, they're debating in council." Zelthix's mandibles clicked in frustration. Typical. The great galactic cooperative, united in prosperity, scattered like seeds in the wind when war came knocking. She watched the tactical display as another shield generator failed. They had maybe 4 cycles left before the Creventhi broke through and slaughtered everyone aboard. "There is one more option," the communications officer said quietly. "The humans." A ripple of unease spread through the bridge. The humans. Those strange mammals from the backwater system who had joined the cooperative only 20 cycles ago. A species so young they still used chemical propulsion when they first ventured into space. A people who had spent most of their recorded history fighting amongst themselves. "How far are they?" Zeltix asked. "Their fleet is conducting exercises in the Tertius sector. 3 cycles away, Commander. 3 cycles. It was their only chance." Zeltix straightened her carapace. "Send the distress call to the human fleet. Tell them we need backup immediately." The human response came faster than expected. The voice that crackled through the speakers was calm, almost casual. "Harmony 7, this is Admiral Chen of the UNAS Indomitable. We read you loud and clear. Backup is on the way. Hold position. Chen out. Backup." Zeltix allowed herself a moment of hope. Perhaps the humans would send a frigate or 2, enough to buy them time until the proper cooperative forces arrived. Every little bit helped. 3 cycles later, the sensors began screaming. "Commander!" The tactical officer's voice was pitched high with shock. "We have massive subspace ruptures forming. Multiple signatures. I count 47. No, 63. The numbers keep increasing." Zeltix rushed to the display. The fabric of space itself was tearing open as ship after ship emerged from faster-than-light travel. But these weren't the sleek diplomatic vessels or the modest patrol ships humanity typically fielded. These were warships, massive angular constructs of steel and composite armor, bristling with weapon batteries and missile pods. The human fleet materialized in battle formation, a wall of military might that made even the Creventhi Armada pause. Dreadnoughts that dwarfed the station itself, carrier groups launching wings of fighters, cruisers with enough firepower to crack a moon, and at the center, the flagship Indomitable, a mobile fortress that radiated such aggressive intent that Zeltix's instincts screamed at her to flee. "Mother of the Hive," someone whispered on the bridge. "We asked for backup." "They brought a war fleet," Zeltix finished, unable to look away from the display. Admiral Chen's voice returned, but the casual tone was gone. Now it carried the weight of iron and authority. "Creventhi vessels, this is Admiral Chen of the United Nations Allied Space Command. You are in violation of galactic cooperative law and are engaging in unprovoked hostilities against a civilian station. You have 30 seconds to power down your weapons and withdraw, or we will interpret your presence as a declaration of war against humanity and our allies." The bridge was silent. Everyone knew the Creventhi. They were raiders, predators who struck at the weak and fled from strength. But they were also proud, arrogant. Surely they wouldn't simply withdraw in the face of threats. The Creventhi war leader's response was predictable. "Humans, you are far from your small corner of space. This does not concern you. Leave now, and we will forget this intrusion." Admiral Chen didn't hesitate. "Your 30 seconds are up. All ships, weapons free. Show them why you don't threaten our allies." What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for generations. The human fleet didn't just attack. They executed a symphony of overwhelming force. Railguns that accelerated projectiles to relativistic speeds. Missile swarms that moved with terrifying coordination. Energy weapons that carved through shields like they weren't there. And tactics. The kind of brutal, efficient tactics that only came from a species that had refined warfare to an art form over thousands of years. The Creventhi Armada, which had seemed so unstoppable just moments ago, found itself outgunned, outmaneuvered, and utterly outclassed. Ships that tried to flee were intercepted by human destroyers that appeared from nowhere. Those that stood and fought lasted only seconds longer. In less than 20 minutes, it was over. The Creventhi survivors were fleeing in every direction, and the human fleet held position around Harmony 7, a steel guardian that radiated barely contained violence. Zeltix found her voice, though it shook. "Human fleet, this is Commander Zeltix. We cannot adequately express our gratitude. You saved thousands of lives today." Admiral Chen's response carried a hint of warmth again. "Commander, you called for backup. In human military doctrine, when an ally calls for help, you don't send the minimum. You send everything you've got, and you send it fast. That's what friends do." As the human fleet began establishing a defensive perimeter, Zeltix realized something that would ripple through the galactic cooperative in the cycles to come. Humanity hadn't just responded to a distress call. They had made a statement. They had shown the galaxy what happened when you threatened their allies. The other species debated. They deliberated. They sent token forces and calculated risks. But humans? Humans came with a war fleet. And in that moment, Zeltix understood why this young, violent, passionate species would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Because when it mattered most, when lives hung in the balance, humans didn't ask what was strategically optimal or politically expedient. They asked what was right, and then they brought everything they had to make it happen. The distress beacon finally went silent on Harmony 7. It was no longer needed. Backup had arrived.